Thanks so much for joining. My name is Sophia. I work here at LinkGraph, and we're so excited to bring this presentation to you today. We're going to give everyone just maybe 1 or 2 minutes to join, just because we did have a lot of people joining us today. And so I'm going to ask an icebreaker question. Go ahead and put in the chat, in a post-COVID world, like none of this exists anymore, where is the first place you're going on vacation, or where is the first place you're visiting? We'd love to hear from you. Oh, Colombia. Maui. See, I'm also with the Hawaii. Oh, Thailand, Jamaica, Medellin, Hawaii. Let's all go. Mostly I'm looking for ideas as I dream about a world where we can travel together again. Okay, North Hollywood, not too far from us. Prague, Ireland. Oh. Okay, thanks for clarifying. Cool. So we'll give everyone just a minute or so to trickle in. Ooh, Tahiti. It's a good call, Paul, staying in Canada. Nice, awesome. Okay, so we're just about a minute past 10. A couple notes. We will send you after this webinar the recording so you can watch it, share it, and you'll also get a copy of our ebook, which we've written about the topic, and an SEO checklist that we'll share. So when you're doing all this SEO optimization, you can kind of go through and check things off as you work through them. But right now, I'm going to go ahead and introduce our Chief Technology Officer, Manick Bhan, and he'll be giving the presentation today. He works extremely hard to bring this content to you guys, and SEO is his life's work. So I know we're all excited to hear from him, and take it away, Manick.
My name is Manick Bhan. Very happy to have everyone on this call today. Thanks for bearing with us as we work through those technical difficulties. Today's webinar is about technical on-page SEO optimization. So let's just dive in. Let's just go right into it. Okay. So here's our table of contents. Today we're going to start with a short background and overview about myself and the company, and then I'm going to take you through some quick case studies to show you the results of on-page SEO when you do it right, what can happen. And then I'll take you through our process and how we actually do it. Then we'll go through some of the tools of the trade and the plugins that we like to use. And then we'll follow that up with some thoughts on SEO benchmarking, how you can track your results, how you can see your progress. I think that's really important to stay motivated and know that you're moving forward. And then also how we think about SEO A/B testing. And then we'll do some closing remarks, and that's it for the day. So, hey guys, I'm Manick Bhan. I was the founder, CEO, CTO of Ruckus.com, which we sold several years ago. I would consider myself a growth hacker, data scientist, and the CTO of LinkGraph.io. SEO is absolutely my life's work. It's what I wake up every day and I do, and I'm super passionate about. And just to tell you a bit about LinkGraph briefly, LinkGraph is a content powerhouse. We do a lot of different things, but one of the things that's really cool about what we do is we are generating content at scale. So we produce over 1,000 pieces of original content. So we're kind of at the scale of like a New York Times. But we do all of this from an SEO and growth mindset and perspective. Our SEO and creative team produces about 40 unique landing pages every month, which we do everything from design, copyright, information architect, and code and publish. And we're operating at scale. We're a growth agency for over 100 digital brands, and we do link building outreach at scale. We are constantly running SEO experiments. So the cool thing about that is that we know what works. We've done a lot of different experiments, and so now we've kind of been able to figure out a playbook that we've repeated over and over again. So without further ado, let's dive in. For those of you who are a bit new to SEO, I thought it might be good to just kind of start with a high-level overview of really what SEO is all about, and it really comes down to 3 key pillars. Those pillars are on-page content quality, the on-page technicals, and your off-page authority. Today's webinar, we're going to focus strictly on only the on-page components, and we're going to talk about content and technical SEO, and we're going to leave on-page authority for next month's webinar. So first, why I love on-page SEO. I love it because it's really easy to win if you do it right. It's honestly not that hard. You just have to know what you're doing, and you have to know what the process is. And I would contend that anyone on this call can do it right after you kind of learn and you understand how to use the tools. So that's what we're going to do today. It's cheaper than authority building. Link building and getting press mentions is a lot of work and takes a lot of time. So that's hard. On-page SEO is fully within your control. And really, it's not that expensive. So that's why I love it. So let's first jump through some really quick case studies to search. Bright Pattern, we've been working with them for a long time, and we pushed them all the way up to position 6 in Google search for the keyword call center software, which is a amazing keyword, $230 for just a click if you wanted to buy that from Google. Magus Nutrition is another phenomenal brand that we've been working with for a long time. They're actually in position 1 for supplement manufacturers. Direct Liquidations, another company we've been working with for a very long time now as well. They're up to spot 1. And Daniel Kim Law or usaccidentlawyer.com, they're in position 4 for Orange County car accident attorney, which is a keyword that costs $200 per click. So all of these brands have been able to get that traffic for free. They don't have to pay anyone for it. They're getting that traffic to perpetuity. And so this is a really key insight. There's a lot of components to growth in digital marketing, but SEO is unique because it gets you traffic forever. That makes it more affordable than paid search marketing. When you're doing paid search marketing, whether it's on Facebook or AdWords, you're basically leasing clicks from Google. You're buying them on a credit card, and as soon as your credit card runs out of money or you stop doing the marketing, those clicks are gone. So it's better to own rather than rent. And I would also say that SEO kind of requires more creativity than pay-per-click marketing or some of these other forms of marketing because it's multidisciplinary. And you'll see that as we dive into the process. So just to make sure everyone's oriented, on-page SEO is about everything that's happening here. So that means everything in your HTML content, all of the words on the page, even invisible words that are hidden and not on the page visibly are also part of this, as well as the HTML, microdata, the meta tags, all those little components. So that's what we're going to be talking about. There are components that are visible and there are components that are invisible. And the complete process for doing on-page SEO optimization for a landing page, the process that we follow each and every time is a 4-step process. It starts with keyword research and clustering. So the idea of that is we're going to do some keyword research. We're going to understand what are people searching for out there, and how can we cluster those keywords in categories that we can target them with. Step 2, landing pages. We build one landing page per keyword cluster. That's the way to do it. You don't want to build a landing page targeting 5 different keywords or 5 different keyword clusters or different topics. You want to really focus your landing pages to one key topic. The third step is to optimize your HTML tags. So that has to do with your meta tags and invisible things that you can't see, but the crawlers can. And the fourth step is actually benchmarking your performance. Right? We don't do all of this and just hope to God that it's going to work. We actually want to benchmark our results and track so we can make data-driven decisions and keep improving. So let's go through this process. The step 1, that was keyword research and clustering. So what's really important to understand here is you've got to target keywords that your ideal audience is already using to find your product. We don't really want to make up things here. We want to look for things that your audience is already searching into Google that's leading them to find your product. You also want to find keywords that are not going to be too competitive. So for example, car accident lawyer, that's a super competitive keyword. If you're just starting out and you want to rank for that, don't go for car accident lawyer, go for something else that's less competitive. So, in summary, the best keywords are keywords that have high search volume, where there's a lot of people looking for that information on Google. Keywords that have high CPC. CPC, meaning cost per click, is what it costs to buy a click from Google. You want keywords that people are paying a lot of money for because that traffic is worth a lot of money to them. So CPC is kind of an indicator of conversion intent and economic value. And the third really important component is a low organic difficulty. Organic difficulty is actually a metric we created. I wrote software to create this to find keywords that would be easy to rank for. So it's super important to use that metric to find out what keywords can I actually have a shot at ranking for? If you're going after car accident lawyer and you're brand new, you're not going to get anywhere near the first page. You may not even rank on the 10th page. So you got to find long tail variants, and organic difficulty helps you do that. So here's a little math equation to help you find low-hanging fruit. I promise there will be no other math on this besides that. And by the way, you guys can get free access to that organic difficulty metric I mentioned in our dashboard. Okay, so for keyword clustering, I want to show you guys how we do that. I didn't want to just say do keyword clustering. I wanted to actually show you how we do it. So here's an example from a client called Hello Thinkster. They're a online e-learning platform that does online math tutoring, reading, things like that. And so when we were working with them on their strategy, we siloed keywords into discrete and specific categories. For them, you can see the categories as tabs here. And what we did is we did an analysis for all these keywords. Where are they currently ranking? What's their current search volume for those keywords? And what's the organic difficulty to rank for those keywords, as well as what's the CPC? And basically the way you find the lowest hanging fruit to focus on is going to be using that organic difficulty calculation. So that's how we do that. By the way, that spreadsheet I'm going to give to you guys so that you can use it and you can do your own keyword research using that kind of a methodology. And as always, if you have any questions on how to do it, just email me, Manick@linkgraph.io. Okay, so here's an example of some of that data here for car mechanics and auto mechanics. This first metric is the organic difficulty. So you can see auto mechanics open on Sunday, a lot less difficult than, let's say, car mechanics, which is a very competitive term, even though it has a ton of search volume. So that's that. Let's proceed. Oops. Okay, I'll just click there. All right, step 2. So that was step 1, keyword research and keyword clustering. The second step is to build a landing page for each keyword. So once you've done your keyword clustering analysis, the next step is to actually figure out how we're going to build these landing pages. And the first thing you need to do before you start building the page is to figure out what content do you need to put on that page? What are the focus terms you need to incorporate? So we actually have built a content optimizer tool that's in the dashboard that you guys can all use. I wrote the software because we were doing this over and over and over again. And it's really hard to build landing pages from scratch that are covering all the components of a space or an idea to make them really complete without doing a tremendous amount of research and a lot of manual legwork. So this actually streamlines it. We actually also have a free Chrome extension you can use to automatically import content into the dashboard. So this is kind of what that looks like. The goal when you build your landing pages is to get a very high content score. If you incorporate all the focus terms that we're suggesting in the tool, you're going to get a high content score. These focus terms are ideas, topics, phrases that are related to the keyword search that you're trying to rank for. So when you put all those onto your page, you show Google that you're a in-depth, insightful, high-quality resource that they will want to rank high in their search results. The other way you also do this is with long-form content on the page. Get to at least, if you can get to 2,500 words, that's great. I'd say at least hit 1,000. And in our tool, aim for an 80+ content score. If you do that, you're going to get really good results. And let me jump out and just show you. This is the dashboard right here. Here's an example of one of our clients doing it. This was a pet CBD company, and there were a total of 65 focus terms that were relevant. So you can see natural ingredients, prescription medication, first study, anecdotal reports, like these kinds of topics, these kinds of keywords and focus terms are relevant to rank for all these keywords. So if you put these into the page is gonna appear authoritative and relevant to Google. So that's how it works. Okay, so to talk a bit about the content quality signals that Google's looking for, they are looking for grammar, spelling, readability, diction, style. So if you just drop all these keywords or focus terms onto a page, it's not going to work. You have to write it well. It has to be good. The content also has to be unique, and you need a lot of depth. So I can show you some examples today as well of some pages that do this really well. Actually, if you look at any of the examples of sites that we got ranking, you can see content depth on those pages. The other thing that really helps is adding in rich media, like images and video, GIFs, adding embeddable like a Twitter card. All that stuff is really important. It shows Google also that you're high quality because users like to experience content like that. The other thing that's important here is to structure all that content and information in an intelligent way. We call that information architecture. So if you can structure that information on the page in a thoughtful way, whether it's with like a hero image followed by 3 units, 3 modules with more information on them, followed by a bulleted list, something interactive, that's kind of what we're talking about here. That's what really works. And the last piece here to highlight is that you want to internally link your landing pages. So the whole idea of internal linking is it distributes page rank, page equity across your website. Google uses that to understand what pages on your site are important, and the amount of page rank that you have on your landing pages versus your competitors is a key part of the ranking algorithm. So after you do all your content work, make sure you're linking to this page. Don't just have this page hidden on your website. Link to it in your nav, preferably, if it's important to you. And I'd also put it in the footer as well. Okay, so step 3. We've built the landing page, which is targeting the keyword cluster we're going after. What's the next step? The next step is you need to nail all your SEO tags and the little technical SEO pieces. So what's important to understand is Google's a crawler. It's a robot. There are some human components, but it's mostly automated. When that robot comes and indexes your website, it's reading all these meta SEO tags to understand what the page is about. In the early days of the crawlers, they were very unsophisticated, and so they were very reliant on all these little microdata HTML tags to understand what the page was about. These days, they've progressed in sophistication dramatically, but they're still using these tags. If you're using WordPress, there are plugins that I'll tell you about that you can use. If you're using Wix or Squarespace, a lot of the stuff is integrated into the builders. The core on-page tags that you need to focus on are, let's just list them off: the title tag, the meta description, your URL slug, that's this thing up here. It's just the URL of the page. Your headings on the page. Make sure you add headings. A lot of people don't do that. It's really important. And the other one is microdata and rich snippets. So microdata, that's things like reviews, ratings, site links. That's a little bit slightly more sophisticated than the other tags, but not that much more sophisticated. There's a lot of plugins that can help you put that into your page. And there's also some more advanced tags like the robots tag, the canonical tag, the hreflang tag. If you know what those are, or if you haven't heard about them, they're more sophisticated. For beginner SEOs, I would advise not to play with them too much. They can really screw up your site. But for more advanced SEOs, they're very powerful and they can do some nice things. Some important technical SEO features to highlight here are the sitemap.xml file, which is what Google uses to understand what pages on your site you want them to index. So you get a finite crawl budget. Everyone gets a finite crawl budget based on your site authority. They will use that crawl budget and they will deploy it to index the pages in your sitemap. So that's what the sitemap's for. The robots.txt file is a file format that indicates how you want different crawlers to treat your website. And that's what it's for. It's another really important SEO, technical SEO factor on a site. And then the other category of technical SEO factors are site performance related. So these have to do with how fast your site is. And let's talk more about that. So there's a tool called Google PageSpeed Insights. It's a free tool. You just Google it and throw your website in, and it will actually show you a score for how optimized your page is and how fast it might be. So sites that are not well optimized, you're going to see low scores in the 20s. Sites that are well optimized are going to get closer to 90, maybe even 100. Speed is everything here. So there's a lot of things that you can do to make your site faster. It does sometimes take a little bit of dev work, but it's critically important. There's actually an update coming in 2021. Google's announced the core update that is using these on-page user experience factors to drive rankings. So there's this thing called the Chrome User Experience Report, and that's what I'm showing you here on the slide. It's actually a report that comes from real people browsing the internet. Google's collecting statistics about how long it takes for pages to load, about how long they stay on pages, whether they click through on the page or not. Those data points are used and they're put into a big data warehouse, which, by the way, you can query. Our software queries it to show you kind of what your metrics are. And I mean, the punchline is you've got to make your site fast, and you've got to make sure that you're doing everything you can to deliver that user experience as fast as possible. So that's really what that's all about. Some of my favorite plugins that we use all the time for WordPress specifically, I'm not sure what everyone's on. Everyone kind of has different CMSs these days, but WordPress is a very popular one. I think a very large percent of the internet runs on WordPress, actually. Yoast SEO and All-in-One SEO are two of my favorites that are really good for setting up the basic SEO meta tags, and they give you ability to set up a sitemap and robots. Another really compelling plugin is called Redirection, which for WordPress users helps you manage redirects. So if you change the URL of one of your landing pages from A to B, it will automatically put the redirect in to send users, if they land on A, send them to B. This is really important for Google because Google doesn't know that you moved your page, so you have to put a redirect in to show them that the page is moved. So yeah, that's a really powerful plugin. I love it. The third plugin that's really phenomenal is WP Rocket. It does a lot of compression and performance caching, things like that, out of the box for you. So in order to deliver fast sites, there are some key things you need to do, and caching is one of them. And that plugin does that for you. So once you've mastered that part and you've gotten your SEO tags in place and you've made your site performant, the next step is monitoring the results of your hard work. And my favorite tool for doing this, and I would say the gold standard tool for doing this, is Google Search Console, right? This is data from Google themselves. It's a free service, and it's going to give you information about how your site's performing in Google. Using Google Search Console, you can track your keyword rankings, you can submit your sitemaps, you can see how often Google's indexing your site, if there's indexation issues, if there's pages that are 404ing, if there's problems with your site, like usability issues on mobile, things like that. Google will actually tell you that, which is super helpful. Also, if they've manually penalized you for some reason, if you think your site is quote unquote cursed, Google will tell you that. So it's a great tool. Everyone today, if you don't already have a Google Search Console account, please create one. Google Analytics, by the way, is also another phenomenal service. It's also free that you can use to get traffic data from all sources, not just organic search in Google. So as we think about keyword benchmarking, we think about how is our site doing? We actually built a piece of software on top of Google Search Console so that we can understand on a daily basis how our keyword tracking is doing. And so this is what that looks like. By the way, our SEO is also going gangbusters, which is really exciting for us. Practice what you preach. So this tool allows us to monitor our keyword rankings and see how they're changing. And generally, we use this to just track rankings across all of our clients to make sure that they're moving in the right direction. It also helps us show progress and demonstrate progress. So what I will promise you today, I promise you guys all this, if you follow the process, you will see a graph like this in your Google Search Console. I promise you. Content alone and getting your technicals in line alone can have dramatic impacts on your SEO without even talking so much about link building. A slightly more sophisticated topic that's in the realm of monitoring is SEO A/B testing. So I'm sure you guys have heard of A/B testing. You can do A/B testing in SEO as well, which is really cool. There's a few variables that you can really focus on for your A/B tests. The SEO tags, like your title tag, your meta description, those are things that are great to run A/B tests on. You can even do it with landing page copy. You can do it with CTAs for conversion. And probably my favorite thing to A/B test, especially for big sites that have a lot of authority, is going to be internal links. So the internal linking structure of sites, the things you put in your navigation bar, the things you put in your footer, that basically is kind of like a buoy that sends PageRank across your site. I love doing A/B tests on that because sometimes you can get really dramatic results. The easiest way to do these A/B tests, I would say, is just using site snapshots and rollbacks. So it's so easy. You basically make the change to your site, right? Well, before you do that, you take a site backup. So that's the site snapshot. You take the snapshot, you make the change, you then create a new snapshot of the new variant, and you sit back for a week and you watch what happens. If your change to the site has improved your SEO, you'll see it in your benchmarking, and you keep rolling with that site. If you've made a mistake, then you just roll back. It's so easy, and we do it all the time. If you're a little bit more sophisticated and you have the capability and the dev team to do this, you can also split page cohorts. So you can treat a certain cohort of pages with different on-page tags, landing page copy, internal linking, and you can just see how those pages perform versus a control group. So it's a little bit more work, or it can be a lot more work, but that's a really good way to do it because it neutralizes a lot of other factors. You can also split test traffic using tools like Optimize or Google Optimize to see how conversions happen on a page. That's not really related to SEO, but I just wanted to highlight that in case you guys have been thinking about doing that. Right, so if you follow this process and for some reason you find that your content isn't ranking well enough, what could have gone wrong? And so when we do this, it usually always boils down to one of these three factors. You could have picked a keyword that's too competitive. For brand new websites, I would suggest looking for keywords that have an organic difficulty of between 10, 15, 20. Stay low. Go for low difficulty keywords. Just win at those. Even if they don't have a lot of search traffic, win those, get the traffic, start building your business. And then as you can invest and as you can build up the site's authority, you will naturally be able to go after more competitive keywords. So targeting keywords that are too difficult out of the get-go is often a reason why people don't get traffic or don't get great rankings right away. The second reason is content score. So if you haven't spent the time and you haven't optimized the landing page copy and you have a really thin page, then you're really not going to get good rankings. So use the tools, do the work, improve the content quality of your pages, and up your content score above an 80. We've done this so many times, and I would say within 7 days, we've seen pages that we work on, that we optimize, they will immediately, rankings will improve 20, 30, 40 positions, page one, page two. It happens all the time, and it's awesome to see. The third component, if you've done number one and you've done number two, you're sure you have good content quality, you're sure you picked a good keyword, you've done all of that stuff right, then it could be that off-site factors are holding you back. It could be that you need more link building. You need more site authority. And actually, if you need help with that, we run link building outreach campaigns all the time. Happy to help you with that. So some pro tips here. Aim for an 80+ content score on all of your pages. Writing content, it's an art. Using the software, it makes it more of a science. So use the tools and improve your content quality scores. I can't stress that enough. Target primary keywords with low keyword difficulty. That's the best practice. And for all of your landing pages, aim for an 80+ PSI score. So that's Google PageSpeed Insights. Make sure your landing pages are built correctly, and make sure you're not doing things like render blocking JavaScript or bloated CSS and things like that. That can often hurt your PSI scores. So make sure your site's fast and make sure you do everything you can to improve that. For really big websites, one really cool technique that works really well is to be selective about what pages you're putting into your sitemap. So if you're a website and you have over 1,000 pages, think about whether you need to put all those pages in the sitemap. If you know that Google has a finite crawl budget, just channel that crawl budget to a tighter number of pages. And what we've seen is oftentimes that can make those pages rank better. So that's a more advanced technique, but it can work really well. And kind of the final thought here on pro tips is content pruning. Content pruning is deleting pages or removing pages on your website that don't get any traffic, that don't really have a lot of value. Google doesn't like sites that have lots and lots of pages that are fluffy, thin, or don't get traffic. So if your site looks like that, consider content pruning and cutting back the number of pages and just keeping what's essential and important. And remember, no duplicate content. You can't do duplicate content on your pages. Google sees right through that. So a quick recap of everything we've covered today. Keyword clustering, the process of finding keywords to target with your on-page SEO work. You can use our tools, and I'll send you the sample clustering spreadsheet that you can use to understand how to do your keyword clustering. Then you do landing page development. Use the copy optimizer to help you build awesome landing pages that Google's going to love. Then you do your SEO tags, your technical SEO work. And then finally, you use tools like Google Search Console and GA to track the performance of the work you've done. So that's going to be pretty much it for today. We're going to follow up with a checklist to kind of help walk you through all of that. I know that was a lot for some people who have just been doing this for the first time. It can be a lot. We're here to help. So if you ever need help from me, just drop me an email. I'm more than happy to help. I'm up early in the mornings, up late at night, just always around. My Twitter is madmonic. So hit me up if we can do anything for you. And by the way, if you do want us to help you in a more meaningful capacity, we do link building campaigns. We build landing pages. Most of the landing pages that we build are between $2,000 to $3,000 per landing page. We do site audits. We do a lot of growth activities. And of course, we do paid media as well. So if we can help, please reach out. We're here to help. And we'll be providing a replay of all of this, as well as a bunch of materials for you after the call. And don't be a stranger. Please say hi. And I hope this was helpful. Have a good one.
Thank you guys so much for joining. So we'll go ahead and send you over the recording of this webinar, an SEO checklist that we put together. You can also get a copy of our ebook that we wrote on the topic, and you'll get the keyword clustering spreadsheet. So we have a lot of things for you guys, and you'll all get them in an email. And thank you for joining, and thank you for all the travel ideas. Now we have a full list of places that I want to go after this. All right, thanks guys. Have a great day. Oh, and for people who asked any questions in the chat, I'll make sure Manick follows up with you via email and answers those for you. Okay, bye.